What is up, YouTube? My name is Eben, and today is Farfetch'd Friday, and this deck I've been wanting to bring you for some time. It is a Mega Diancie deck. Yes, it took me a while to kind of find like the right way to do this and get all the stuff together, because apparently Mega Diancie is kind of hard to trade for. Go figure! But this Mega has 190 HP, absolutely no Spirit Link, but that's okay because we are playing all the defenses today. Why? Because it's Farfetch'd Friday and I can do what I want to. So, it is 2 fairy energies and a colorless for 100 damage, and during your opponent's next turn, you prevent all damage to each of your Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon EX. Now, it does specify that benching this thing will end that effect, but as long as this thing stays active, that means your opponent's EX Pokemon could do no damage to anybody, anywhere. That's a pretty gosh darn well spread damage reduction effect. In fact, let's just call it what it is, damage prevention. That's pretty awesome. Now, yes, they might be able to status, and they might be able to use attacks that kind of punch through effects like that, like Hydreigon EX's Shred. Although, obviously, since we're running fairies, dragons aren't going to be that big of a concern. But, I mean, there are kind of some ways around it. But like I say, we are playing all the defense today, because that's kind of the theme for Mega Diancie. And, after all, this thing can 2-hit KO with Diamond Force most things you're going to see. So, pretty awesome mon there. We're running 3 Diancie EX because this thing's pretty nice on its own, actually. It's got 150 HP, but its ability says that as long as it's the active Pokemon, you prevent 30 damage to each of your Pokemon from your opponent's Pokemon. That's 30 damage not just prevented to this Pokemon, but all your Pokemon. So it can protect your bench as well, which is pretty cool. And with that 30 damage reduction, it basically means that Diancie EX, in a way, sort of has at least 180 HP, and if they're trying to multi-hit KO it, it's kind of like we have more. If they try to 2-hit KO it, it's like it has 210 HP, for example, and so on and so forth. And for basically 3 energies, since we're not running double colorless energy anyway, we're dealing 60 damage, and if there's a stadium in play, which we're pretty much guaranteed there will be, we're talking 110 damage. Pretty cool. So this mon is also pretty defensive, and as we get further into the deck, you'll see we've got all the defense forever here. Our backup attacker is going to be Sylveon EX, because for one thing, we can help maintain our defensive rhythm with Precious Ribbon. We're going to be doing all the typical fairy tricks of free retreats and energy switching via Fairy Garden and Aromatisse, respectively. So Precious Ribbon will be a great way for us to heal our Mega Diancie, along with a number of other tricks we've got. And it's relevant to mention we can always use Dress Up as well, because we do have some tools in the deck. But it's a nice attacker that can wear things down. And like I say, we're running Aromatisse for Fairy Transfer. That way we can play around with things like AZ, Max Potion, etc. And we can get free retreats on whoever we want with our Fairy Energies thanks to Fairy Garden. 2 Spritzy, 2 Aromatisse, pretty standard line there. We're also running 2 Xerneas because we can always search this guy up, so we don't have to run like a lot of copies, but he's a good early game mon that we can bring into the active slot and start geomancying up. And he is kind of our answer to Regice as well with Rainbow Spear. Regice obviously isn't in a lot of matchups, but if we do have to face one, it's kind of our method of dealing with it, since Hexmaniac doesn't really do anything. We also run Hoopa EX because this guy gets our Mega, gets our Diancie, and can pick up something like Shaman, so he's just a really logical pick there. And speaking of the devil, we do run 2 Shamans, pretty my kind of standard Shaman Hoopa suite for those of you who've been watching me for more than a little while. Supporter-wise, we're running 3 Sycamores. We don't want to discard too very many things. I mean, we got ways of dealing with that, but still, we're just going to run 3 Sycamores. It's all we need. We've got 3 Ends, because this guy is always evolution-friendly, and he's just a really good draw card, and he's a great way to mess up your opponents if they're already struggling against you, which we're defensive. That's the theme. So we're going to be defensive, and we're going to annoy our opponents and make more passive than aggressive plays. But I guess in a way, it's the long run, it is kind of aggressive, so we're being passive-aggressive. Ooh, yuck. Anyway, we're also running Trevor. That's right, I'll let you look up where it comes from. I'll wait. Oh wait, you can pause, so I won't wait. Trevor is an interesting supporter who, he just doesn't get the attention. This is Farfetch'd Friday, so we're going to try him out. And he lets us look for any Pokemon in our deck and add it to our hand. It's as simple as that. So you might say this is an underwhelming Pokemon fan club or something like that, but it allows us to get a lot of different things. We can go get Hoopa, but we can also get Spritzy, we can also get Aromatisse, we can get Mega Diancie, we can get access to any mon in our deck, and since we may very specifically need one of those in particular, Trevor's a great answer to that problem. We can always get the mon we want. You can always versus Seeker him if you need to, whatever. He's just really good. And since we can move energies around, AZ is a great way to just completely recover damage and then lay things down. But Mega Diancie does not want to get picked up and put back down. Since it doesn't have a Spirit Link, we don't want to cough up those extra turns. So while AZ is good for everybody else, our Mega Diancie is going to appreciate Pokemon Center Lady. And it's also a good way to remove status, which is awesome. And she doesn't even need you to be able to move energies around, so she'll be good even if your opponent manages to snipe your Aromatisse. She's still going to be helpful, and just look how pleasant she is. This is a great card, another underloved card, and while in a fairy deck normally she wouldn't be that great because of the way Mega Diancie operates without a Spirit Link, she actually does warrant a place. And last but not least, we are going to run Lysander for all the, well, obvious reasons that pretty much everyone runs Lysander. It's just so good. If you're not running it, you should run it. End of story. We're going to run 4 Versus Seekers, another card that's just kind of a staple. You just pretty much have to run it. It is just that good because supporters are just that good. We've got 4 Ultra Balls because we do want the versatility of being able to get any mon with Ultra Ball. The discards are not always the most pleasant for us, but it's still just that utilitarian. Our stadium of choice is going to be Fairy Garden. We're going to run 4 Fairy Gardens. Our trainer lineup, by the way, here, guys, is really direct, really straightforward. It's just wonderful. We really like these free retreats, especially in tandem with Aromatisse, and it's a great way to get rid of our opponent's stadium as well. It's just everything we could ever want, so we're definitely going to run 4. We're also going to be running 3 copies of Hard Charm. Remember I said we were all the defense? This is the perfect item. We can't take advantage of fighting Fury Belt in this deck, and we can't use something like, say, Floral Crown. But this fits the bill perfectly, and blocking the extra 20 damage means that, say, Diancie EX is now blocking 50 damage from every attack, which is pretty amazing, and Mega Diancie can definitely slow the damage to it, and then you can free retreat out thanks to Fairy Garden, and allow your Sylveon EX to heal it up on the bench, and all kinds of cool stuff like that. There are just tons of cool things this does and enables. It can buy you so much time and make a lot of opponents lose out on 1-hit KOs or lose out on 2-hit KOs they might otherwise get. And with our healing, well, we can definitely take advantage of that. Speaking of healing, we run 2 copies of Max Potion because we can move energies around, heal up, and then move them right back. Pretty standard fairy trick, but it's still worth running. And we're going to run 3 Trainer's Mail because that's what we kind of had the room for. It's comfortable, it keeps our momentum going, etc. Make sure we kind of hit our setup. That's important, getting that Mega Diancie out on the right turn, quote unquote. And we're running 2 Super Rods. And this is because, yeah, we want to kind of, there are some situations where preventing deck out might actually be our win condition. But furthermore, this is a great way to take it, to kind of make sure that we don't run out if our Aromatisse gets sniped too much, or if we lose our Mega Diancies early. There are just a lot of situations where this card's going to be able to keep us going, because we are kind of aiming for a mid to long game. So double Super Rod is definitely the way we're going to go. And last but not least, of course, we are going to run 12, count them 12, Fairy Energies. This is just making sure we get them, we can throw them down. If you get a bunch of extra ones in your hand or something like that because we're running 12, don't sweat it. You can Ultra Ball 1 or 2 away. You'll live. You'll be just fine. But part of the reason we're running 12, of course, is because we're going to try to get Xerneas out, Geomancy, and when we Geomancy, of course, they're going to be less in our deck for us to top deck later so that we can keep using our manual energy attaches. So that's why we're running just a little bit more in the way of energy. That is the deck. That is awesome. Will it take you to Nationals, to Worlds? It might. It might. You might not make a lot of friends on the way because it's Mega Diancie and that's kind of trolly for some decks. But hey, that is not the point. The point is it's weird and it's fun, and that's Farfetch'd Friday, and I'm done. I'm going to get the heck out of here. And until next time, like, comment, subscribe, check me out on Twitter. Link is, you guessed it, down below, and I will see you next time.